Hello, gracefully chosen community, and welcome to Fostered My Stories, the achievement-focused podcast for foster care, adoption, orphan, inclusive of underserved communities. I'm your host, Shalina Michelle Tate, and on today's Relate to You, I'm going to be highlighting gracefully chosen content you and your family can enjoy relative to the foster, adoption, orphan, or underserved communities. If you are a new listener or returning, welcome and welcome back. I more than anyone understand that being related to any of the mentioned communities isn't always seen in a positive light. Therefore, this segment desires to celebrate the movies, public figures, and books that may better connect to your situation or understanding. So, let's jump in. The movie of the month of April that I would like to highlight is called A Chance in the World. This is a 2017 PG-13 film based on the award-winning book A Chance in the World. It is an inspirational true story of a gifted boy who must escape his abusive foster parents to fulfill his incredible destiny. Once again, A Chance in the World is a 2017 PG-13 film based on the award-winning book A Chance in the World. It's also an autobiography film, so the narration also may be influenced by actual narration from the person that went through this incredible story. So I would advise you to check this out. Once again, it's PG-13, so if you're a parent, consider watching this film first. All right, next up, the public figure of the month is Dr. Lapincess Brewer. This is also from the Mayo Clinic article where they highlight a passion for serving underserved communities. So during the time of this article, Dr. Lapincess Brewer was a cardiologist that has been applying an innovative community-based participatory research model to prevent heart disease in underserved communities. Dr. Brewer's program called Fostering African American Improvement in Total Health, acronym FAITH, has been recognized nationally and internationally as making substantial improvements in the health of its participants. Dr. Brewer speaks about how all of this came about, her past, and how this has influenced her. Quote, "I was really drawn to become a physician, given the privilege afforded to care for and learn from patients, and then channel this knowledge to have a larger impact on population and public health, particularly within underserved communities." It expresses how this stems back to her upbringing within the African American church, where she saw many members of her congregation, people that she loved and looked up to, slipping away from uncontrollable chronic diseases, predominantly heart disease and its risk factors. Even though these members were not related to her, they all felt like family. And she wondered why many of them were dying so early from conditions that could have been prevented, and expresses that there was so much loss. In her third and fourth year of medical school, she decided to take a year to pursue a master's of public health degree, which stemmed from her clinical practice as a medical student. She became overwhelmed with the degree of cardiovascular disease health disparities within the communities which served her nation's capital, and these were magnified among poor and underserved communities. And to understand why these disparities existed, she wanted to become more equipped to tackle them head on. The following summer, during her testimony, she continues about how she wanted to combine her two loves. She was selected to participate in a research experience for undergraduates during the summer research fellowship at Duke University of Medicine in Durham, North Carolina. She fell in love with it, and she was assigned as a mentee to world-renowned cardiologists within the Center for Emerging Cardiovascular Technologies to work on a project in partnership with NASA. The project was to develop better therapeutic measures to prevent muscular breakdown and dysfunction in astronauts, which is a major limitation to long-term space missions by humans. Having the opportunity to shadow her mentor was an eye-opening discovery that she could combine with her love of science and engineering with patient care. From that moment on, she made a goal to apply to medical school and was fortunate to be accepted into the George Washington School of Medicine and Health Sciences. And Washington, D.C., and the rest is history. And once again, this content is coming from Mayo Clinic, A Passion for Serving Underserved Communities article. Check that out to get the full content. You could look her up as well. She's still active. Dr. Lapincess Brewer, who is continuing to change many more lives and families. All right. And once again, that was Dr. Lapincess Brewer and her passion for wanting to make a change in cardiovascular health and diseases in underserved communities. All right. And so the book of April is called Having Nothing, Possessing Everything, Finding Abundant Communities in Unexpected Places. This paperback is currently on Amazon for $17.99 as a Kindle $2.51 by Michael Mather. Pastor Michael Mather arrived in Indianapolis thinking that he was going to serve the poor, but after his church's community lost 9 young men to violence in a few short months, Mather came to see that the poor didn't need his help, he needed theirs. This is the story of how one church found abundance in a community of material poverty, viewing people, not programs, finances, or service models as their most valuable resource, moved church members beyond their own walls and out into the streets, where they discovered folks rich in strength. As their most valuable resources moved church members beyond their own walls and out into the streets, where they discovered folks rich in strength, talents, determination, and love. Once again, this book is called Having Nothing, Possessing Everything, Finding Abundant Communities in Unexpected Places. This is written by Michael Mather, whose book is currently on Amazon.com for $17.99 and via Kindle $2.51. All right. So the movie of the month was called A Chance in the World, which is also a book, true story based off a young man who unfortunately dealt with abuse from his foster parent. It turns for the better when he goes on his own journey of discovery to change the narrative. The movie of April is A Chance in the World. Public figure Dr. Lapincess Brewer highlighted from the Mayo Clinic article, basically sharing her testimony about how she saw cardiovascular diseases and just a lot of people she loved pass away from a lot of medical stuff that she felt could have been prevented. She gained a mentorship in a dynamic program that really catered to astronauts in space. She combined that research into her passion for helping people medically. Her faith program, which really tackles those medical needs in the underserved communities and paired with faith. And the book that I mentioned a little earlier, Having Nothing, Possessing Everything, Finding Abundant Communities in Unexpected Places by Michael Mather. A look of getting out of your own comfort zone and going out to really be a change for the communities or people you're wanting to serve. Once again, thank you for taking time to listen today. And if your upbringing, community service, or job connects you to the foster, adoption, orphan, or underserved communities, I would love to have you on the podcast. Send an email to frankmarysampodcast247@gmail.com and tell me a snippet of how your background relates. Also, stay connected for the full website that is currently being developed. It is fostermystory.com, spelled Frank Mary Story, an I, not a Y.com. And make sure to check out updates about content posted on selected Wednesdays throughout the month on any platform that is convenient to you. On Red Circle Podcast, you can donate to the efforts of this podcast, projects related to this podcast like short films in the works. Also, you can check this content out via Spotify, Amazon Audible, Amazon Music, Radio Public, Google Podcast, and also on Facebook. You can catch missed episodes or stay connected for announcements concerning upcoming guests and content, along with Instagram and LinkedIn pages. So, A Chance in the World, Dr. Lapincess Brewer and Michael Mather has displayed today that your past circumstances or limitations are temporary, and that focus and determination can greatly overturn the preconceived downward narrative of your life. Please share that with someone, and remember, as always, that being fostered, adopted, orphaned, or underserved simply means you're gracefully chosen. Thanks so much for listening. Take care.